Whatever happens during those proms, I'm from Chicago, so there you go, Chicago girl all the way. Chicago Bears, go! Anyway, now I have to get serious, just for a little bit. You have to be patient with me, but you can go ahead and eat, because I won't hear you chewing or making noise anyway. This year marks my 28th year in the entertainment business, and though I've been acting since I was 7 years old, I started with a small local theater, as I said, serving deaf and hard of hearing kids in Chicago. But for 28 years, I've seen a lot of barriers, and have mostly just walked around. And that's because technology and a lot of what my grandmother gave me, a great deal called chutzpah, helped me get through it all.
Calm down.
Jack, calm down. I can hear you. Don't speak ahead of me. Never do that, Jack. I might be deaf, like I said, but I can hear Jack sometimes, so he's not fooling anybody. Anyway, with smartphone technology, like texting and video conferencing, closed captioning, all the barriers basically disappeared. And now I can focus on the work rather than the need to be accommodated with all these advances. But you know what, there are still some barriers out there. But as you would know, maybe right here in Hollywood, and I'll give you a couple of examples. When I was working on a television series called Reasonable Doubts with Mark Harmon, an executive from NBC came to visit the set. And after watching me and Mark work for a few minutes, he leaned over to the executive producer, Bob Singer, and said, you know what, that Marlee Matlin, she is great. Is she gonna be deaf for the whole show? Bless his heart. And even recently on Celebrity Apprentice, which I'm proud, by the way, to say that I broke a record for raising on network television the most money ever raised for charity in one day, $1 million. And you might remember in the show I was disappointed by Dionne Warwick's comments that a deaf character in a children's book might be too troubling for young minds. Go figure that out. Donald Trump asked me if I still respected her as a music legend. And I said, well, you know what, Mr. Trump, I really don't know her as a music legend. And he said, you don't? And I said, well, yeah, I'm deaf. Duh. Donald Trump, okay, what do you expect? Anyway, I'm keeping my mouth closed on that one. But I have to admit that these kind of things aren't only confined to Hollywood, because more than once I found myself on a plane waiting for it to take off, and the flight attendant sees me signing here with Jack, grabs the menu out of my hand, goes to the galley, and comes back with a new menu in Braille. In Braille. It's happened 3 or 4 times. I won't mention the error. And when I tell her that I'm deaf and not blind, she goes, yes, that's right. And I'm like, hello? Hello? And then, of course, when she realizes it, I never see her for the rest of the flight. You know, I use these examples not to trivialize the barriers that are out there, because people who are deaf are still misunderstood and some face discrimination. But in all my travels, and in the examples passed along to me, people like my parents and my mentor, Henry Winkler, I found that the best way to make a change about people's preconceived notions about it is to simply show them what you can do, to open the lines of communication, and to simply talk to one another. And for me, it's about highlighting my brand as the most recognizable deaf person in America, well, in the world, and of being that person who just happens to be deaf, who's on TV or in the movies, signing and speaking and showing them that though the world may think that people like me live in a world of silence, silence is the last thing you'll ever hear from me. So it was with this opportunity given to me to entertain as well as educate that got me thinking about the millions and millions of Americans who are deaf, and their families, and their friends, and their extended communities who all communicate in sign language. Marry that with the idea of now reaching out doesn't only mean television or movies, but it means computers, handheld devices, tablets. Come out with and take advantage of the changing trends. Why wouldn't I? Because more people around the world own a smartphone than own a toothbrush with sign language. Most use language in the United States and being a visual language. Why doesn't this deaf woman who everybody knows, take advantage of that? So I was determined to find a way to get the whole world signing and tear down the barriers. So, with some help from my friend John Orlando and Dave Swartz here from Metal Mobile, I met with them and told them about my desire to teach the basics of American Sign Language through an app that I called Marlee's Signs.